I built the perfect tackle box for ultralight fishing. Consisting of a variety of different lures and baits, this tackle box has everything you need for ultralight fishing. And today, I'm going to take the ultralight box fishing to see if it can help me catch fish. Alrighty, welcome back to another video. So here is the ultralight fishing tackle box that I built, and we're out on a flooded river today, and we're gonna see if this box can help us catch any fish. We'll talk a little bit more about the box and what's inside of it later, but for now we're gonna start fishing because I'm really excited to see what we're gonna catch. So in our little ultralight fishing tackle box right here, we have all kinds of lures, but I think I'm gonna start off fishing with the old curlytail grub right here just to get an idea of what is gonna be living in this creek today. So we're gonna tie this on real quick and see if we can catch anything with it. Okay, so we've got our little curlytail grub right here tied on, and I cannot wait to get to fishing because a lot of the times when this river floods, a lot of big fish move up it. So let's not waste any more time and see what we can catch. Today's verse of the day comes from Romans chapter 10, verse 9. It says, "If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved." I really like this verse because it really emphasizes the necessity in declaring Jesus as Lord and sincerely believing in your heart that God raised him from the dead. Okay, so I've been fishing here for about 5 minutes, and one thing I've noticed is that there are carp everywhere here too, and they're not even small either. They're really big carp, so if we could catch one of those today, I would be really happy. But the ones right here don't seem really interested, so I'm gonna keep moving a little bit further up the creek, and we're gonna see what we can find there. Look at that, there's a carp swimming upstream right there. They're everywhere in this creek. That's a big one too, wow. Man, I was just fishing at that spot. There were 4 giant carp right at my feet, but they do not seem interested in this little grub right here at all. We were coming up on a really good looking spot right here. There's a tunnel that leads right out of the creek, and I'm thinking there's gonna be some big fish down there, so let's find out. I just had something come right up from under a rock and take my lure. I don't know what it was, but let's get right back down there and maybe go back for it. Okay, well the fish were not biting at that last spot, but look at this spot that we're coming up on right here. We got a whole waterfall leading into the creek, and I have not a doubt in my mind we'll be able to catch some fish here. First cast here, I had a bass come right up to my lure and take it, so that's a really good sign. Let's get it right back out there. There we go. That's a fish. Look at that, finally got our first one of the day. That is a bluegill. Not a very big one, but that is our first fish of the day, and I will take it. Alright, well we finally caught a fish out of this creek, but I am seeing some much bigger ones down there, so we're gonna keep fishing and maybe we can catch some bigger ones. There we go. That's another one right there. That is another bluegill. A little bit bigger than the last one. Oh, a little bit bigger than the last one. Absolutely hammer that little curlytail grub. Let's get him right back down there. Fish number 2. Okay, so we fished with that little curlytail grub for a bit now, and we caught 2 little bluegills on it, but I kind of want to switch it up, so we're going to see what else we got in our little box right here. I think that I might go with a little Panther Martin spinner right here. There we go, nice little gold Panther Martin inline spinner right there. So I'm gonna tie that on real quick and we'll see if we can get something to go for that. So we've got our little Panther Martin spinner right here tied on. This is one of my all-time favorite lures for ultralight fishing. A lot of people use them just for trout, but I found that they really work for just about any species. So we'll see if we can get anything to go for this little Panther Martin spinner. There we go. First cast with the spinner. That was my very first cast with the spinner, and a very tiny bluegill. Not a big fish at all, but still, that is a fish, and I will take it. There we go. And another. Sweet, there's a ton of fish down here. Look at that one. That is by far our biggest bluegill today. Very nice fish on the spinner right there. These fish look super healthy. They've got some really vibrant colors on them. I believe that is our 5th one of the day. Awesome. There we go. There's a new species for the day right there. I was just fishing right above that waterfall and we've got ourselves a beautiful pumpkinseed. Look at the colors on that one. Sweet, that's fish number 6 and our 2nd species right there. Beautiful. There we go, big fish. Oh, man, I just had a really big bass come and take my lure. He was chasing it downstream for a bit and he eventually took it. That was about a 1.5, maybe 2-pound bass. Oh, that's too bad. Well, I guess we'll keep fishing. I doubt we'll go back for it, but that was really cool either way. There we go. That's another fish right there. I thought this guy was a bass. He was fighting really hard. There's another bluegill. Beautiful fish. I think it's time to switch it up again because the spinner is definitely working and we're catching a lot of bluegill on it, but now that we know that there are bass in here, I feel like there are a lot of better options we could use to catch one of those. I've got a bunch of these little crankbaits right here. I feel like these would work pretty good for the bass. I've got one in fire tiger, got one in kind of like a shad pattern, and then I got one more. I think I'm gonna start off fishing with this one right here and we're gonna see if we can get a bass to go for this little crankbait. Alrighty, so we've got our little mini crankbait right here tied on. I'm feeling really good about this because we're fishing at a spot right now right above that waterfall down there and it gets really deep and I've been seeing a ton of bass down here and I've actually hooked one, so hopefully we can get a bass to go for our little crankbait. There we go, on the crankbait. I don't know if it's a bass. It's a bluegill. This guy was really fighting like a bass and I was hoping he'd be one, but it's just another little bluegill. I'll take it either way though. A fish is a fish. It's our first one on our little crankbait. Let's try to get a bass now. Man, I just missed the hook set on a really nice bass. He went and grabbed my little crankbait and my drag was too loose, so when I went to go set the hook, it just pulled out a bunch of drag and he let go. That's too bad. Another bluegill, not a bass this time. I keep thinking they're bass when they're coming up to it, but still a cool little fish. Super dark colors on this guy. Very interesting. We were catching so many fish today. I've honestly lost track of how many we're at. I'm having a lot of fun out here though. That's a fish. Bass? Nope, not a bass. Yet another gill. We are pulling up these guys pretty much every cast now. Sweet. There we go, that's a bass. There's the bass we're looking for. Nice. Look at that, we finally got our bass. That is so cool. This fish absolutely smoked that crankbait. That is sweet. Took long enough, but we finally got ourselves a largemouth bass with the help of our ultralight box. And that's the thing I love about ultralight fishing. It makes little fish like those bluegills feel like big fish, and it makes big fish like this bass right here feel like giant fish. Well, let's get this bass right back down there and keep fishing, but that is awesome right there. I really wasn't planning on leaving this spot right here until I caught a bass because it is really deep down there and I was seeing a bunch of them, but now that we finally caught our bass, I'm going to start to work my way back down the creek. And I also actually just ended up switching back to that little panther martin spinner just because I feel it had a better action in the current than that crankbait does. That is another little gill right there. I forgot how loaded this little pool right below the waterfall was. Awesome. It's really cool fishing here by this waterfall because I go fishing here a lot, and a lot of the time there's no water running down there, so that really just shows how flooded this creek really is. Man, it is crazy how many carp are in this creek. There are 3 of them. I don't know if you guys can see them, but there are 3 carp just chilling down there. That's crazy. And there's another one right there. Literally right at my feet. Oh, and another one up there. I've probably seen about 100 of these guys today. That's so cool. Just swimming right upstream. Alright, so I just went ahead and made my way back to that tunnel that we were fishing at earlier because this spot just looks too good not to have any fish, and I figured I'd give it one more chance. There we go, that's a fish. Oh man, there we go. That was really cool. I just casted right inside of that tunnel and pulled out a nice little bluegill. That was so cool. Knew there had to be some kind of fish at this spot. Sweet little bluegill right out of that tunnel. Okay, so we are done fishing for the day, but I'm going to go over a little bit about why I made this box and what is inside of it. So the reason I made this little ultralight fishing tackle box right here is because I love to ultralight fish. I carry an ultralight rod with me pretty much everywhere I go, and I didn't really have a tackle box that I could just grab and go whenever I want to go ultralight fishing. So I figured I'd put this together, and I would say it definitely helped me when I was out on the water today. So inside of this little ultralight box right here, I've got all kinds of stuff. Right down here, I've got my terminal tackle. We've got jig heads, split shot weights, hooks, bobbers, and then right up here, I have all kinds of different curlytail grubs. You got different colors of them, so some little soft plastics. And then I've got my spinners on top. I've got a MEPS right here, which is a little bit of a bigger presentation, but something that could definitely be fished on an ultralight rod. I've got some rooster tails down here, and I've got these little panther martins that you saw me fish with today. And then right down here, I've got all my crankbaits. I've got this little one right here. I've got these little mini square bills that I fish with today. And then I've got these little mini jerk baits. So pretty much you have lures for every kind of situation you're going to be in while ultralight fishing. Well, that just about wraps it up for today's video. I had a ton of fun coming out to this flooded creek and catching a ton of fish with our little ultralight fishing tackle box. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time.